So the last time I made a candy cane, it took about 20 minutes, and it wasn't exactly perfect. This time I propose using a different method of making a candy cane. Alright, so what I'm going to do is in the top view by pressing 7 on the number pad, right? So 7, 1, 6, 4, you can change the view. So this will be a top-down view. Pressing Shift and A, you get this drop down. I'm going to choose a cylinder. I'm going to go right away into the options for the cylinder here that disappear if you click anywhere else. You'll have to recreate it again if you miss this step. So vertices 8. I'm going to that way reduce the number of vertices that are on the cylinder. So holding the mouse wheel and moving the mouse around, I can have a look at my cylinder. You see it's a very simple cylinder, right? It's almost a square. It has very few faces. Okay, so pressing 1 again on the keyboard, I'm going to be looking at it straight on. I'm going to rotate it by pressing R. I'm going to rotate it on the Y axis. All right, and I'm going to press 90. I'm going to type 90 on my keyboard, 90. Okay, so now you can see I've rotated the cylinder. All right, big moment. Now pressing Control A, once you have to make sure you've selected the cylinder. You press Control and A, and you'll get the option to set all the transforms. So the scale, the rotation, everything will be applied to the cylinder. All right. So, all right, here we go. Now, this thing here, I'm going to go into to check the size of this. I'm going to make the dimensions, I'm going to make it 12 on the x-axis. You'll see it expand. There you go. I want to break it up. I want to add more edges. So I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to make sure that you understand that there's a difference between object mode here and edit mode. You can click on this, get a drop down, and you'll see edit mode, or you can press tab on the keyboard. You just have to make sure you've selected your cylinder. All right, so select, tab, bam, we're right in edit mode. Control and R. Okay, when you're near an edge, it'll move this around. You can scroll with the mouse wheel. Okay, so we have 2 sets of faces here. I'm going to make it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so this is my cylinder now. It's broken up with all these faces. I'm going to get back into object mode. So you see, object mode, edit mode, very important. You get into the right mode. Because in object mode, you can just grab it with G, move it around. You can rotate it on the Z, on the Y, R, X. Okay, so you have different axes up here. So Y, X, and up and down would be Z. Okay, makes sense? I hope so. Now, top-down view. I'm going to maybe rotate the view, pressing 6. 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. There we go. Now, I'm going to go into a different view here. So you have up here at the top right, you have viewport, the wireframe view. Okay, this will be good. I can now, in object mode, make sure you're in object mode. Press Shift and A on your keyboard. All right, you'll get the option to make a plane. Now, it might not be obvious why I'm doing this right away, but you'll see. So I'm going to grab it by pressing G, and I'm going to move it on the X-axis so it doesn't move up and down. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the G, Y, on the y-axis, okay? Now, we have this plane. It's just a plane, just flat, okay? What I want to do, in edit mode, all right, I'm going to not select the vertices, I'm going to select the edge, all right? You have three different options here. You can select a face, an edge, or vertices. So I'm going to select, as you can see up here at the top on the left, the edge. So I can select an edge now, all right? I've selected this top edge, all right? It's top from this view anyway. Now I'm going to grab the 3D cursor, all right? If you want to know about the 3D cursor, you can look into here, into these options. You'll see the location for the 3D cursor and the rotation. Right now it's here in globally it's at 0.000. All right, it's a global setting here. Everything's set to global. All right, I don't want to give too much detail. You should already know how to use Blender. If not, you can follow Andrew Price on his channel, Blender Guru. That's where I started out. And he'll teach you how to make a donut. And practicing that, you'll have a better idea of how to use Blender. But I'm just going over these different functions of Blender, so that if you need some revision, you don't have to go all the way back to some other video. You just watch this one, okay? Okay, so we have selected now the 3D cursor option. I'm going to put it all the way over here. I'm going to click with the left mouse button, okay? I'm going to go here into my options and select spin. Now watch this, okay? I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard and I'm going to press the left mouse button. Now I'm going to pull to the left here. Oh crap, it didn't work. Okay, I'm not pressing Control, but just pressing the left mouse button and then pressing Control. Now you see it snaps. All right. You get a perfect curve. Let go of the left mouse button, and now you can press E to extrude this face, holding Control on the keyboard and just pulling your mouse down on the mouse pad, right? And then pressing the left mouse key, okay? You can do the same thing to elongate this side here. I'm just going to, again, Control R, add another edge here, and then press the right mouse button, okay? Again, so E for extrude. I'm going to hold Control, okay, E, extrude, E, oops, E, 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 like a monkey, E, 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 and E. I think that maybe a little more. All right. Now on this part of the candy cane, I'm going to pull this down a little bit more here. Maybe a little more there after all. All right, now check this out. I'm going to select the selection tool here, but I'm going to press left on my mouse and hold it. And I'm going to select the lasso tool instead of the box select tool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the inside of this line, all the edges on the inside, by pressing on the left mouse button, going all the way through, and there you go. Make sure you don't select any of these. If you do, let's say you select this, I had to press Shift and the left mouse button to include that. Now if you don't want to include it, hold Shift, hold Control, and then use the lasso tool again to deselect that. Well, you select it in order to deselect it. Now I'm going to press X and delete the vertices. So what you're left with here is a line. Okay, it's all the edges. It's still there. It's still a mesh though. So going into object mode, very important. I'm pressing the tab button. With object, the object option here, go all the way down to curve 2 in the drop down menu. Curve from mesh. Okay, so now it's a curve. If I go into object mode, you'll see not much has changed. It still looks like vertices and edges. I mean, basically that's what it is, but it's a curve and not a mesh. Okay, now it's going to get a little strange at first. First, I'm going to go into my modifiers here. Well, you just select this little icon of a wrench, and you select the modifier. Let's see, it's going to be array. Now watch this. Pow. You have an extension. You have 2 here. I want to make it, I think I should make it 5. Okay, you can change it at any time. All right. So long as you don't apply the array, just keep it open like this, and then select merge to merge all these edges. All right. Now, I'm just going to switch back into material preview mode. So you see we have the cylinder. It's been extended with this modifier, the array modifier, because the array modifier creates, I guess, iterations of this. Here, if you turn it off, you'll see that it's what's adding these extra parts to the cylinder. Okay. I'm going to add another modifier. Let's see if I can remember which one it is now. Curve. Yes, under deform, you'll find curve. We're going to use the eyedropper here in curve. And we're going to select this curve here. Now you see what happens? I'm just going to now select again in object mode this curve. And I would like to use Control and A. And I'm going to see if setting all transforms. Yes, that solves the problem. Now, so long as you're in object mode, you can move this. If you're in edit mode and you try to move something, okay, I'm going to go back into this other view, the wireframe view, so I can find this line. If you're in object mode, you can move this around without any problem. Now, watch what happens if I'm in edit mode. G on the Z. In edit mode, you're going to be deforming the mesh that counts on this line to create its shape. Okay, so as long as you're in object mode, you can move it around without changing the mesh. Okay, so again, I'm in object mode, and I'm back in this view, this material preview view. Okay. Now you see we have something that looks a lot more like a candy cane. I am going to remove a few of these vertices right here. Alright, vertices. Oh, right, I have to be in edit mode. Hey, how come it's not changing anything? What? Vertices. Okay. Well, I guess I'll do it that way then. I was looking at it like it was the other way around. Vertices. Okay. Now let's say that's how I want the candy cane to look. All right. That looks like a candy cane. Maybe one less. Okay, let's see if I can change something here. Control all transforms. Ah, I see. All right, all right. So you see, once again. Oh my God, that is not what I want. I guess I was wrong. I'm going to have to set origin to... Okay, well, I'm not going to set it to 3D cursor. What I'm going to do is set... Okay, I know what I have to do. I got a little bit confused. I apologize. So selecting this curve, I'm going to press Control and A on the keyboard and set all transforms. So now we have our candy cane again. Okay, it looks like a candy cane. Maybe in this mode here, I might want to change something. Get rid of one more vertices. Oh my god. Okay, that was the wrong vertices to remove. So, every time it's a bit of a challenge. So Control E. Let me see if I can do something with this too. Why it's not working, I don't know. Well, it's not doing anything. Fuck. Okay, I'm going to dissolve this edge. Dissolve vertices. Dissolve the vertice, I mean. If I can. Yes, okay. So G on the X, holding Control. Now I can do that. Makes sense. It looks pretty much like a candy cane, but I still think it might be too long on this side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do that again. X, dissolve vertices. I'm going to move these two G by grabbing them on the X axis, holding Control. It'll snap, and it's beautiful. Beautiful. Now I'm done. Now, thank you. God. So, I have the candy cane, okay? I'm going to apply a texture. I'm going to create, first of all, I'm going to create a new, going in this tab here, Material Properties. Okay, I'm going to create a new material. Bam. I'm going to call it Candy Cane Texture. All right, does that make sense? I think it does. Now what I need to do, under Surface, like you can have a preview here, but we don't really need to focus on that. So Surface, Base Color. You've got a whole bunch of options here. Don't get overwhelmed. Base Color. Now I can go and click on white here and change the base color. I'm just gonna, excuse me, just gonna go back to 0. So let's say 0, 0. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. All right. So it's just fine like this. All right, I'm going to click here on this little circle here, and I'm going to find in these options, I'm going to find the image texture option. I'm going to click on that, open, and now I'm going to find my image texture. I'm going to make the image texture I created available for you to use in your project here, okay? Projects. I'm going to put that, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can just download the texture I created. Now, let me see. Where did I put that thing? So, Blender tutorials. No, Blender. Oh, what's wrong with me? Candy cane, right? Makes sense. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to change how I see my files here and go and click on thumbnails. So this is what you're going to be able to find on the internet. You can download this texture. Now, if this doesn't appear right away, you might be in another view, okay? Otherwise, not in object mode, in edit mode, you would select all by pressing A for all, and you would click on assign. Okay, now in this case it appeared right away, so there was no problem. Now we're going to move the texture around. If you don't know how to do that, just follow me. Click here at the top of the screen and move this frame over. Okay, now you're going to select in the, I guess, editor type here, UV editor. Okay, we're going to press A and delete to move back. Okay, so you see it doesn't line up. The texture that we have here, it doesn't line up properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select the part we want to work on. These circles here are the ends. We're going to have to take care of that later. All right, so now watch this. Now if I press S to scale, right, this is what happens. The texture is moved around. Okay, now I have to be in the right window. Right now I'm in the UV window. So you see it lines up, it should line up all the way around, okay? Now what I need to do, unfortunately it doesn't line up with the extensions, so to do something about that I'm going to press G while I'm in the UV window here. G and Y, okay, to stay on the Y axis. Now if that doesn't do enough for me, okay, I can click on the I can click the right mouse button, and I can try to press S on the X. If that doesn't work, I will again press S on the Y. Get this to match up here. And we'll just play with that until we have exactly what we want. Hey, well, that seems to be okay. Now you really want it to match up properly. You see this doesn't here. So S, and holding Shift, you can control it a lot better. All right. While you're in the UV window, remember that. Because if I'm in here and I press, if I'm in the edit mode and in this window here, what is that, the layout window, and I press S, it's going to change the scale of my mesh, and that's not what I want. All right, seems to be fine, right? It matches up all the way around, so we're happy. We want to be happy. All right, so we're ready now to get out of edit mode, and as you'll see, we have our candy cane. It's still very, square. I'm going to grab the corner of our main window, and I'm going to drag it over to the left, and you can see an arrow appear that will reduce, we'll just get rid of the other window. We don't need it anymore. And what we're going to do here for these edges, we'll take care of them right away. So back in edit mode, we have our cylinder. We'll grab the edge here. You'll see when I leave the mouse cursor scrolled like over it, over the icon, you'll see the description. All right. Now, pressing Alt on the keyboard, holding it, and clicking on the left mouse button while scrolling over an edge, you'll see we get an entire edge. You can also grab a face, okay? We need that face, but we actually need the edge, okay, of this face. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a seam here. It'll make it easier to select that face later on. Mark seam, all right? So you go into edge here, mark seam. All right, let's see here. So, oh, that didn't work. Edge, mark seam. Okay, there we go. Now you see we have a seam which is shown to you here by the line turning red. The edge is red now. I'm going to do the same here. Edge, mark seam. Now the problem that we have is that we don't want these lines appearing on the faces. I'm going to then go into my array. I'm going to just hide the array for now. I'm going to select the face. Now I can select it by pressing L on the keyboard with the cursor hovering over the face. I can do the same here. All right. Or I can actually click on it, Sometimes that's very useful. As you can see, if I want to select all these faces here at once on all sides, I can hover over this area with the cursor and press L, and it'll select everything besides these other faces. And what I can actually do, which you might find useful again in other situations, go into select and press and click on invert. So you see now I've got both these faces selected. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new material. All right. I'm going to press on, click on the plus sign here and click on new. You have to go through all that to create a new material. So now I can click on assign, and you see it turns white. All right. So going back into object mode, ooh, everything's gone to hell. Well, what I can do is make sure I've selected, I'll select this curve here, and I'll press Shift and A, excuse me, Control and A. Apply all transforms. If that doesn't work, I'll do that to the cylinder. Oh, crap. Why? Oh, right. Okay, look, what I forgot here. I forgot to make the array appear again. Okay, so everything's under control. So we have our candy cane. It's still very blocky. What I'm going to do now is apply a smoothing effect. Now, I wonder if I can just go into object here, in object mode, click on object, and shade smooth. Well, that's still not enough. Shade smooth won't be enough here. What I'm going to do then is get another modifier. So again, under the wrench, having selected what's a candy cane now, no longer a cylinder, I'm going to go into generate and select subdivision surface. Now it smooths out the model. I am now going to go all the way down here, and I'm going to see in the viewport, in the rendering, when you render this model, you'll have a smoothing effect of 2. We want it to match the viewport so we can see what we've done. Let me see here. So 3. Is this smooth enough? That's the question that I have. It seems to be. Okay, I think it's smooth enough. All right. Now, if you want to keep this as a candy cane, first of all, I'd suggest you save the file. So let's say candy cane new in my case, because I've made this a few times. All right, put a 1 and a 0. And this way you can always go back and change everything if you want to change the length of any part of the candy cane. There's no problem. Okay, like you can make it 6, whatever you want to do. If you want to shrink it, you have an easier time doing that if you don't modify it for good, if you don't bake in these modifiers right away. All right, now my candy cane, I believe it looks good. So because I've saved this already, I'm going to save it again, Control and Shift and S. And now I'm just going to click on the plus sign here, and it makes it a new, gives it a new name. It changes it from 1 to 2, and then save. Okay. And now I can bake in these changes. And if ever I want to go back to a simpler version of this candy cane, it's very easy. I just open the first file. See? Makes sense. Okay, so I can apply the array. I'm going to reduce the number of, actually I can just leave it like that for now. Subdivisions. I don't have to bake in these changes. Okay, and the curve, I will apply it. Okay, so now we have a very nice candy cane. Now I realize, of course, that you can see this strange kind of like white line here. The problem is that you have a face inside the candy cane. Okay, what we want to do is again go into edit mode. I'm going to go into wireframe mode. Now you see all these faces? We don't need them inside. We only need the last faces for the edges. So to make this simple, since they're already selected, I'm going to hold Control and select. I'm going to select the edges I don't want to delete. Okay. And again, if you find yourself, without having things selected, you should be able to click on the faces. And if you have a hard time, just zoom in and find the little dot in the middle of the face. It should be easy to select it. Select each face, and now press X and dissolve and delete just the faces. Okay, don't delete the edges or the vertices, just the faces. All right, and now what you should have, if you look in the material mode, is a surface with no deformation. Okay. Now for this edge, it looks like a star. What you can do, you would again click. You would select the faces here. Make sure you've clicked on this icon to select faces. And now we're going to insert or inset a face, okay, with eye. And then just move your mouse around and you'll see it makes a nice round edge, okay? So it's a lot simpler than the other way I had done it before, and the lines are perfect, okay? If you want to make it a shinier candy cane, you can go into the material and you'll have, now you see roughness makes it so it's not as shiny. You want to get rid of sheen tint, you don't need that. And you can add more specular here. Now it might be because I don't have a light in the scene that you can't really see the shine, but what we'll do is we'll click up here, background, strength, yeah, okay, specular, get rid of the roughness maybe. It's kind of interesting that it's not give me what I expect. Let's see, in another mode. Okay, it's probably because I don't have a light. So I'm going to go into the top view by pressing 7 on the number pad. I'm going to hold Shift and press A. And then I'm going to add a light source. And I'm going to choose Sun. Okay. Now with that, I'm going to press G because I've selected the light already. G on the Z. Move it over here. G on the Y. There we go. Okay. Now I can hold this little yellow sphere. I'm going to click on it with my left mouse button and do that. It's still not very shiny. I find that interesting. Normally I get something that's a lot more shiny. I don't know what's going on. Alright, well, I guess I can always add metallic and see what happens. Maybe I forgot something. Anyway, what's important is you have your shape. You can always play around with all these options. Click on the light. Go into the top view, you'll have more control. You can also, by pressing, holding Shift while having selected the light, so Shift and D, and then I'm going to press Y on the keyboard to move this light over here. I can again grab that. I can even change the, okay, let's go into the top view, pressing 7, clicking on this, and I'm going to change the color to blue. That's a nice blue, just like that. You can change it to whatever color you want, but anyway, when it comes to the strength of the lights, you can add more strength. Okay, I can do the same thing here. All right. I find it a little strange that it's not shinier than that. Specular, metallic, so strange. All right, I have a lot to learn, okay? But if you can make a candy cane after watching this video, then you got nothing to complain about. You know, I'm not getting paid for this. I'll figure it out later. I just don't know what I did wrong. Okay, so you got your candy cane. Somehow this, I guess this light is overwhelming the other one. I'll just increase this. All right, so we have our candy cane, we have lights, we have our material applied. Everything is good. Now, what I want to do is render the candy cane, right? So if you click on render, you can't do any rendering because no camera is found in the scene, as you can see, as you can read here at the bottom. So go into top view. Okay, I'm going to move, going into this view tab here. I'm going to change the location of the 3D cursor just to show you how that's done. Okay, so you see the 3D cursor is here now. I mean, you can always click wherever you want to place it. But I'm going to actually put it at 0.00. I am going to hold Shift on my keyboard, press A, and I have to be in object mode. Okay, and I'm going to select camera. Now I'm going to move this camera, as you can see it here. I'm going to press delete. We can move into where the camera is. All right. I just wanted to show you what that looks like. I'm going to go into the item tab and I'm going to rotate the camera. You can rotate it directly here. I'm going to make it 90 degrees on the x-axis. So you see the x-axis, 90. Here we go with the camera. G on the Z again to move it up on the Z-axis. G on the Y, just so I can move it into position. Now pressing 0, okay, will move you in and out of the camera view. So if you feel you're stuck in camera view, press 0. Okay. Now in the view tab here, okay, so item, tool, view. I'm going to click on lock camera to view. All right, now look at what this does when I move, when I click on the middle mouse, on the scroll button on the mouse, and I hold Shift and I press that button on the mouse, and I move my mouse around. You can see I can easily place the camera where I want with the rotation that I want. Any correction that I want to make, if I want to make it exactly something, I go back into item, I change the rotation to whatever I want. Now if I lose sight of the candy cane, I can simply click on the middle, on the scroll wheel of the mouse, move it around, or I can get out of that view again. All right, just to figure out where everything is, and then again rotate my camera to be able to see the candy cane. Now you see the candy cane is nice and centered. All right, now we're going to want to render this. So you can go right away into render and render image and you'll get something. Okay. But let's say you don't want a background, because right there you could see we have a gray background. You could go ahead and save it as whatever you want. As a JPEG, as a PNG, even as a video if you want to. I can show you where those options are, but right now we're going to focus on rendering this without a background. So what I'll do is I'll go into my render options, render properties, okay, for the scene, and I'm going to go down here to film, and I'm going to select transparent. Okay, you can see in the view the background disappears. Now if I go into render, render image, I have no background. I mean, I have these little squares, a checkerboard that appears. But when I save as, and it's important you save as a PNG, okay, you can, an RGBA, so red, green, and blue, and A for the alpha. The alpha layer, all right, is the transparency layer. So you can change it to, well, in this case, you can make it transparent, okay? So candy cane new 01. I'm going to save the image. And so it has to be a PNG. Let's say, I'm going to make sure that I've got this right. Okay, so you see if you click File Format, you'll find your options here. So you have JPEG, PNG, bitmap, BMP. And so that's all you need. Okay, so now, let's say I want to go into my candy cane. Blender, candy. All right, you should be able to find it here. So candy cane new. Let's see. Okay, so here's your image. Now it looks like it has a white background, but let's say you drop it into Photoshop. Okay. So you'll have that candy cane here. You can drop it into Photoshop and you'll see there's no background. So if I want to put another layer here behind. All right. You see, there's no background. All right, I can put what I want. I can make the candy cane, add it to the forefront. I can put it in the background, whatever I want. I can add a new, what is wrong here? Okay, I can add another candy cane, and this way I have, oh, that looks like a swastika. Jesus. Okay. Anyway, you get the idea. All right, so it has no background. Okay. And so that's pretty much how you make the candy cane. Did I forget anything? If you want to move around without affecting the camera, again, click on Lock Camera to View, deselect it. If you want to get into another view mode, if you want to, let's say, apply this background. Rotation strength. It's interesting, it's not appearing. Huh. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, here we go. In this view, you can apply the scene and lights in the material view. All right, if you have something that's really metallic. Let's see. Since I'm going to do this anyway, plane. I'm going to add metal. Going to make it metallic, specular, roughness. Yeah, it's strange it's not working the way I want it to. Oh yeah, it is, okay. Sort of. Oh, wait. Film. Scan, there's something. Oh, because I'm an EV. My render engine is EV. You can change it to cycles. That's important. So you see, now you can get a reflection, get better lighting. Gosh, I can't believe I forgot that. You can also change the settings here so that it's not your CPU that's rendering your scene, it's the GPU, your graphics card. So if it's heavy for your computer and you have a good graphics card, you can render this a whole lot quicker. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Render image from the camera view again. There you go, you got a reflection on metal, and you have your candy cane. Everything's real nice. Got your lighting. So I think that's enough for this explanation. I won't call it a tutorial. I mean, I just did this on the fly, and I wasn't exactly prepared. I just tried it once myself. So hopefully this helps you. And if you find, like as I do, the other method that I use to create a candy cane not all that reliable, not all that efficient, well, you have this option that I just figured out. Okay, so there you go, and happy holidays.